we have Everybody Scream rather, by Florence and the Machine. And this was my pick. Yeah. I think it's just Florence who screams really on the record, in lots of different ways, and mainly in the title track. But yeah, I mean, I think we messaged each other on the day her Instagram kind of came alive with the scream, which was the calling card for what was to come. And yeah, I think one of the best artists in the UK right now, and a little while since we'd last heard from her, with 2022's goodness,
Dance Fever.
Dance Fever, that's the one. So a record I really enjoyed. I think there's maybe one or two I'd missed in between, because this is only her sixth record. I thought she had done more, but I mean, when came onto the scene in 2009 with Lungs, which is great record from that era, and then Ceremonials followed it up fantastically for me. So the two really strong albums, and then not sort of kept up to date in the middle of her career to date. And then, like I say, last one I really enjoyed, and so I was definitely very curious to know where she'd go next, and obviously enlisting the help of Mark Bowen from Idols as well on production duties, as well as others. There's Mitski. She's brought on board here, Aaron Dessner from the National, and a few other collaborators to put this one together. And I think ultimately what has been created is a very strong album. Also, in between Dance Fever and this one, and I was unaware of what she's gone through on a personal level, with her ectopic pregnancy, where she almost died. And my word, does she sort of confront this when you think about the album cover, when you look at a lot of the themes in here as well. So there's a cathartic energy to it, and yeah, great that she's even sort of back and producing her art again, after such a turbulent few years. But I think by bringing in some very well-known collaborators, you get quite a varied album at points. It's quite stripped back as well, and I think it's kind of really kind of cutting to the core of what she wants to say, and not trying to overproduce. Which I mean, one review I read sort of talked about how it was an album which is more like a Shakespeare theatre, but on album. So like, best heard live. And I mean, my word, this is still, she's possibly top now of artists who I haven't seen, who I want to see live. And again, another one playing the O2 who, yeah, tickets just went immediately. So unfortunately, I'm hopefully she's on the festival rota maybe next year, because this would be a great one to see live. But it does make sometimes feel a bit bare, I suppose, by taking this stripped back approach. But I mean, there's some real highs on here. I think for me, the top moment is One of the Greats, really inviting fuzzy guitar. And basically she's thinking, what's the legacy I would have left behind? If she had gone at that point, I would have been in the top 100. There's some quite funny lyrics within here as well, but it's a real kind of odyssey of a track, and kind of a bit of a riposte at music discussions, and sort of say, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing here, so it's a really strong statement. Everybody Scream, the title track as well, has those great actual screams which are brought into it and really add that more kind of spooky element, for this Halloween album. Buckle was one written with Mitski. This, which is quite archetypal of a lot of the tracks where it is, you know, guitar and Florence's voice together, not too much else. But I think out of the handful of songs which have that kind of formula, I think this is the strongest. She wrote this one with Mitski. Takes on the dichotomy between the public acclaim and kind of personal relationships and the indifference felt, and almost being out of her comfort zone because she's so used to the adulation which comes with the fame and the performance, and performance itself is a massive theme on this album. I mean, the vocals at the end of this one for me are just some of the best on the record, and when we're speaking about good or great vocals from Florence, that's a higher bar than most, I would say.
For sure.
And Kraken, which follows immediately after, was written with Dave Bailey. I'm not familiar with him, to be honest. You guys might be.
From Glass Animals.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Glass Animals.
The Oxford band, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's another riposte to the critics in this one, and using some of her, you know, typical kind of Florence and the Machine imagery, but with, you know, through the Kraken, and with an enigmatic chorus. And then the other sort of main song highlight I would just pull up here is You Can Have It All towards the back end, one she does with Mark Bowen, addressing the flawed idea of kind of having it all, which she just says this is something which is a myth, propagated in lots of ways and making people kind of overstretch quite often. But yeah, just huge chorus. Just love the strains in it. And yeah, the arrangement on this one is just excellent. You know, beyond that, everything else I think is great. The only one I maybe didn't feel was up to the standards of the rest of the album was Perfume and Milk, which probably followed a similar path to some of that handful of tracks I was mentioning before with the guitar and her vocals. But overall, I don't know if I liked it as much as Dance Fever, but it's another really, really strong album, and certainly the ones I've listened to by Florence the Machine, there's not a bad one among them. And yeah, just so glad she's back and able to tackle these issues head on and do it in such an intriguing way, and, you know, kind of ironically based on a lot of the theme of performance, you know, get to share it with such a huge group of people who really love seeing this live. This, you know, I'm very much, whether it's on the TV or I get to see it live, very much looking forward to watching over the coming months for sure. So yeah, very strong one for me. And yeah, Karl, I'll go across to you now.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very happy this one got picked this month. Big Florence fan since, you know, she first started breaking out over here. Saw one of her first big headline tours in Lincoln around the time of her debut. It's still the only time I've seen her, so I'm well overdue catching her myself again, I think. But yeah, I've enjoyed every project that she's released. Find them all quite unique in the feeling and energy that they provoke, but they're always like unequivocally Florence, which I think I love about it. And yeah, I mean, as you say, Andrew, this one kind of arrives after some quite terrifying circumstances. You know, that ectopic miscarriage during the Dance Fever tour, which, as you say, could have been fatal, and she had to have
Mm.
emergency surgery. And yeah, I mean, this album basically poured out of her as a result of that. And I think it's one you can definitely feel that in every pore and every note on this record. It is a tapestry of pain at times. You really feel it in Florence's vocals, her delivery, all the, you know, demonic and satanic imagery that she conjures up too. Yeah, I mean, and then music that's from the thematic side, and then musically, it's as good as she's ever sounded as well for me. I mean, you mentioned, you know, the guest features, Mitski, Aaron Dessner. I think they do a great job. Obviously, uh, Aaron Dessner and Mark Bowen both were involved in the production side as well. I think do a really good job here. And yeah, and I think it's just um pun intended, but a spellbinding project. So many highlights here, a lot that you've mentioned. Um, yeah, one of the greats, has that quite, as you say, there's a lot of minimal arrangements on here. Um, that's one where it's again quite, like you say, quite minimal, but then that final minute or so, um, it just kind of like explodes. So you've got like that mostly like just a guitar and the shuffling drums, and I think that gives space for Florence's words and her voice to take center stage, which I think it needs to on this record. Um, and then yeah, she's just on that song. She's just full of anger and frustration as she kind of focuses on, like you say, like how she'll be remembered, but also like the female experience in the music industry as well, in quite a scathing manner on that track. And yeah, just agree with you. Just fantastic. Easily one of the best ones on here. Witch Dance as well is their spooky, tribal, but really quite empowering cut as well. Sympathy Magic, another one of the main singles, which is just, yeah, Florence at her majestic best. That wonderful, like, lilting tone on her vocals when we hit the chorus. Just really love that song. And then I think after that great start, we get a really strong kind of middle section. Um, I know you're not a fan of Perfume and Milk, but I really liked how it was like this smoky folk song about almost like touching on like the endless cycle of suffering and healing. Again, I think her lyricism really shines through on this record. I think definitely in those like minimal arrangements as well. Um, I think that's what really comes through. I mean, the other one, Buckle, you mentioned, but Music by Men kind of touches on similar themes to one of the greats. Some really striking lyrics on here. At one point, she says, "Let me put out a record and have it not ruin my life. Let it be us. Let it be home. Let it not be a spotlight standing alone." And yeah, I think it just so open about her mental state and the dark side of like making music for a living on this record, um, which you can't help but kind of get engrossed by, I think. Um, and then the other one I'll just quickly mention because I know it's not one that you touched on was The Old Religion, which is definitely another one of my favorites on here. It kind of steadily builds around this gentle piano melody, which I'm guessing is Aaron Dessner because it sounds like his hallmarks. And yeah, it just really kind of grows into this powerful epic once like the strings and the orchestral elements kind of arrive in the back half. Um, yeah, just a really great song. And you mentioned you can have it all as well. Has that similar trajectory where it starts off like dramatically slow, then just erupts into this jaw-dropping orchestral crescendo. It reminded me a bit of oh, what is it? Led Zeppelin's Kashmir. You got Florence crying out at the end of that track, "Trees grow tall, can't cut me down, am I a woman now?" I think that's the perfect placement as the like penultimate track. And then yeah, the final song, and Love, it's like the sound of her coming out the other side of this, horrific event and ordeal, saying that, peace is finally coming, and it's yeah, just a really quiet and understated closer with like a sprinkling of like harp in that song. Um, so yeah, appreciate what she's done here. I think it just cements Florence, I think, as one of our I mean, you said it at the top, Andrew, one of our country's great songwriters who, you know, really doesn't get half the plaudits that she should get. I think still feels criminally underrated in the grand scheme of things. I think even by myself at times as well. Probably don't listen to her as much as I should sometimes. But yeah, I guess that's part of the point of this record too, which she definitely touches on that. Um, but yeah, love everything about this. Brilliantly paced, beautiful arrangements. Love this dark and spooky imagery she evokes. And yeah, her voice and her words is like the anchor holding it all together. So yeah, real top draw for me. Brilliant record.
Hmm. I think one of the greats is what you were searching for there when you were placing her in
Yeah.
the. So
Thanks.
so yeah, I mean, Kylie, what did you make of Everybody Scream?
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well, share a lot of what you guys said. Florence is one of those that, especially her first 2 records I listened to so much, and then, How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful somehow was, the last one that I really listened to and missed the last 2, so it was nice to drop back in, and she's one of those that, my wife loves and y playing it a lot of the time, and, I'm always down for Florence. I appreciate the hell out of her. Um, but yeah, I'm same as you guys, out of the kind of opening 4 there, one of the greats is the one that really stood out to me. Um, and like those first 4, they kind of for me, they sound a lot of when I think of Florence and the Machine, these are ABCD example, Um, and they're great songs, as she always does, but yeah, I'm with you guys, like Buckle and Kraken and This Old Religion is Aaron Dessner on piano because yeah, you can definitely tell. Um, and yeah, especially for me, like Music by Men, You Can Have It All, and then And Love, I just love the like swirling harp on that song is so cool. I I was wondering, did either of you listen to the chamber version of the album?
No,
So
no.
it's just so, at least on Apple Music, there's the chamber version has Everybody Scream, Sympathy Magic, The Old Religion, and Drink Deep, um, as bonus tracks with different instrumentation, and it's even more so like you were talking about that review, Andrew, of, Shakespearean minstrel music, and I think especially Everybody Scream, as much as I like the album version of that song, that version's super cool, and then, Drink Deep is one that I would, like, almost maybe switch out from the album version, but, yeah, just highly recommend that 'cause, it's just it's a cool little nugget of 4 songs there that I think would be, a really interesting way for her to approach an entire album that way. They're just, kinda they're stripped back, but just really, really gorgeous and whimsical at the same time. So definitely, uh, a couple of those, I'm like, man, I would have switched out this version. But anyway, recommended, and I really enjoyed this album. It was great to get back in touch.
I'm intrigued now. I wanna give those a go and see if we would do any swaps. We can compare how many out of 4 we would do. You'd go 1 out of 4, Kylie, would you? Or maybe
I
2, everybody's
I understand why Everybody Screams sounds like it does on the record.
mm,
It's a great single, but just I love what they did with the chamber version. It's really
mm.
interesting. But yeah, Drink Deep is the one that I'm like, dang, I kind of like that version more.
And that's the only mention of it out of the 3 of us, so clearly it's not one which stands out,
Yeah.
at least amongst us, and so, yeah, we can report back from a listen there. But yeah, that was actually the one with the genius lyrics, where I always like try to find, what the lyrics and what the songs are about. It was the chamber version which was there, so I knew of its existence, but yeah, now need to give it a go.
And I wonder if
S
it comes as like a bonus EP with the record or something like that. I might pick it up if that's the case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Deeper.
Yeah. Drink deeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our homework for the episode.